Tonight, the U.S. government imposed immediate visa restrictions on all individuals responsible for undermining democracy in Ghana ahead of December's make-or-break elections. We have the latest on the new U.S. policy announced by the U.S. Secretary of State. And Top Story is always brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies, holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. In the last few hours, the United States of America has announced immediate visa restrictions on all individuals responsible for undermining democracy in Ghana ahead of December's make-or-break elections. The policy was announced by the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, on the State Department website and is already generating interest across the political divide. My colleague Emefa is with me in the studio to go through the specifics of what we are learning tonight. Is there any background to this?
Well, so the United States says it is committed to supporting and advancing democracy in Ghana and around the world. And the Department of State is announcing a new visa restriction policy today that will restrict U.S. visas for any individual responsible for undermining democracy in Ghana. The policy, we are told, will take effect in advance of Ghana's presidential and parliamentary elections scheduled to take place December 7, 2024.
So you're not waiting for the election. This is taking effect now in advance of the elections itself.
Exactly.
But the key question listening to this, many will be asking, does it affect me, for example? Who is this targeted at? Is it all Ghanaians applying for visas to travel to the U.S.?
So according to that statement put out by Antony Blinken, this visa restriction policy would apply only to specific individuals who undermine democracy and is not directed at the Ghanaian people nor the government of Ghana. Ghana has achieved 3 decades of democratic elections, peaceful transfer of power between parties, a record to be proud of and a model to cherish. The United States' readiness to impose visa restrictions if circumstances warrant is an example of our support for the aspirations of all Ghanaians for a peaceful, transparent and credible electoral process that reflects the will of the people. So it's not everybody, it's not the government of Ghana, but any individual that seeks to undermine the democracy of Ghana, this policy affects.
And we'll be hearing from the political parties pretty shortly because, as you know, and also hearing from the Media Foundation for West Africa, they have been tracking over the last few elections the use of intemperate language that tend to undermine democracy because of its potential to fuel chaos. And we need to place this in the context of what we've seen, the violence we've seen over the weekend, Emefa Apawu, where we've seen that in Agona West, one person has been shot, is currently in critical condition already. We've seen the political undertones of the violence in Boku, for example. So you cannot detach this coming today, because this was issued today.
Yes.
On the back of all that we've witnessed already.
That we've seen already. And it talks about the fact that it's not just the lead up, they will follow up as well. And then during the election as well. And then after the election, anybody that seeks to undermine it will be affected.
Under what authorities are the U.S. implementing this visa restriction?
They're talking about pursuant to Section 212A 3C of the Immigration and Nationality Act and allows the Department of State to implement visa restrictions for individuals believed to be responsible for or complicit in undermining democracy in Ghana, including through the manipulation or rigging of the electoral process, the use of violence to intimidate, coerce, or prevent people from exercising their rights to freedoms of association and peaceful assembly, the use of measures designed to intimidate, coerce, or prevent political party representatives, voters, or members of civil society, or the media from voicing or disseminating their views or engaging in any other activity designed to improperly influence the conduct or outcome of an election.
This is sweeping, huh?
Exactly. And it affects everybody at least. And it talks about certain family members of such persons may also be subject to these restrictions. So not just that individual that is undermining the democracy of this country or preventing the media or preventing voters and preventing civil society from executing their work. Their family members also will be affected.
And this is taking effect in advance of the elections.
Exactly.
And if it is joining us, a major announcement by the United States of America under the hand of the Secretary of State himself, Anthony Blinken, issued today. Imposing visa restrictions on all individuals, undermining Ghana's democracy. And they're just telling us, as Emefa has been explaining, that it does not only include the individuals found to have done this.
Exactly. Certain members of their family will also be subjected to this particular restriction.
And in terms of the scope, it's pretty wide. It's not just use of intemperate language. It's everything from use of violence to intimidate, coerce, prevent people from exercising their rights, to freedom of association and peaceful assembly, the use of measures designed to intimidate, coerce, and prevent political party representatives, voters, or members of civil society, or the media from voicing or disseminating their views, even include the activities of civil society.
Exactly. And that's what it tells you. So at least if you are also engaging in any other activity designed to improperly influence the conduct or the outcome of that election, and also if you intend to rig, manipulation or rigging of the electoral process, and the use of violence to intimidate, as you've been talking about. So very widespread, very wide scope in terms of Section 212A, 3C of the Immigration and Nationality Act that allows them to implement this. They maintain that it is not targeted at the government of Ghana or the people of Ghana, but individuals who seek to undermine the democracy of this country in the lead up to the election, during the election, and after the election.
Emefa, thank you very much. We're getting some reaction to this tonight. I want to bring in Suleiman Abraham, Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa. The media is mentioned there, and I know they've been doing the monitoring of the use of intemperate language. He joins us on the line. Also joining me, Samuel Kudeta Blakwa, who you know has been a key voice on the NDC side in Parliament. As far as the foreign affairs is concerned, he's an MP for North Tongue. He's currently the chair of the Government Assurances Committee in the House. Also joins me right now. We'll be speaking to the MPP also. The Peace Council is also weighing in on what has happened tonight. This announcement, a major one by the U.S. State Department. We'll also be hearing from the Center for Democratic Development on this particular development too. But Suleiman Abraham, give me your reaction to this.
Well, Evans, I think this is a very, very welcome development. And this is so because there are a lot of people who think that they can act anyhow, behave anyhow, because either they want or they will influence, and in the event they don't get what they want to achieve and the nation is thrown into turbulence or chaos, they can quickly have a safe haven either in the U.S. or other Western countries. And so this is a very, very significant development, should send a clear warning to persons who think that, oh, I already have a U.S. visa or I have a house in the U.S. Should anything happen, I can quickly fly my children and my family away, to be aware that things would not remain the same. I would rather wish that other countries, other Western countries, would take the same step. And this is also important for them because certainly through our partnerships and corporations, they spend quite a lot of resources in ensuring that, our democracy remains stable and the people of our country, continue to have the peace that is necessary for development and for their well-being. And so if you are investing that much in terms of partnerships and cooperation, why would you want to see one person, throw or a few people throw the state into anarchy? And certainly, like you said, we've been witnessing people saying all manner of things, people threatening. Only this morning, I heard somebody say, "Look, if this and this happens, if you see somebody on a motorbike and you think they are suspicious, you can and they start to behave in a way that is suspicious, you can do whatever that you want, threatening to basically banish somebody from a particular region of this country." And the person speaks as if he is not even the president of Ghana. It's as if he owns Ghana. And I believe these are the kinds of people who think that, look, I will do whatever I want. If things go haywire, I'll run away from this country. And so, like I said, it would be great if other Western countries that would often serve as potential safe haven for such people would take a similar step and say, look, if there's chaos, we will take note of you, and there's no way we're going to allow you into our country. And so this is a very, very positive development in my view.
And however, a lot of the determination appears pretty subjective, but the U.S. must make a decision. For example, the use of measures designed to intimidate, coerce, prevent political party representatives, voters, or members of, or disseminating vision from voicing their or disseminating their views?
No, Evans, I think that if you look around the world in terms of free speech, the U.S. perhaps has one of the very highest standards in terms of what is allowed, political rhetoric and all of that. And therefore, I don't think it is going to be, because somebody said just something and there is chaos, they are going to say, okay, you are going to be a victim of this particular policy. I think the U.S., as I said, has a very high threshold when it comes to free speech, liberties, the First Amendment guarantees, all that. And again, even if it is going to be subjective, it is U.S., and U.S. belong to the American people, and they would have the option to decide what they think is right, a decision to make, or otherwise. In any case, if they feel you will be a threat, because if you did ABC in your country as a result of which we strongly believe contributed to a certain, kind of condition that we don't want to have in the U.S., why would they have you there? So it's just like applying for our regular visas to the U.S. When you go there, the consular officer interviews you. Basically, it is at his or her discretion in deciding whether to grant you the visa or not to grant you the visa. And you cannot blame them. It is their country. If you love, you may choose to stay in your country or visit another country. And so in this case, it is their decision to make in defending your political position, and then there is violence, and then they blame you as the one. But certainly, as I said, there are certain things that are a no-no. But we are in a country where today people feel the more they are vile, the more they spew a lot of acidic language, caustic language, that makes them so popular in their political parties. So if you listen to some of the radios, and there are people we continue to name, and when you name them, they even use that as their claim to fame. That, for the last 3 consecutive reports, Media Foundation has put me out there as somebody who is abusive. But we don't care. We continue to defend our party and so on and so forth. I think it is to such people that this warning must go to.
Will you be sharing the findings with the U.S. Embassy now that you know they will be sanctioning people?
Well, our reports are public. They are out there, and I'm sure it is up to them to decide where they want to look for. To get the information that they need to help them make decisions. Do this regular human rights reports where they pick, information from multiple sources. I wouldn't be surprised that they certainly will be interested in the kind of reports that we are putting out there. And so, it will be up to them. I believe that certainly what we are doing will be of interest to them in terms of the language monitoring that they are doing.
Thank you very much, Suleiman Ibrahima. Is on with me right now. Also joining me right now is Dr. Kojo Asante, is the Director of Policy and Engagement with the CDD. Joins me now. Mr. Kojo Asante, thank you very much for staying on with me. What's your reaction first and foremost to the announcement by Anthony Blinken?
Good evening, Evans. Good evening to the panel. Good evening to all listeners of Joy. This is a most welcome development. This is a development which will put every actor in our democratic space on their toes. Let's remember that every sovereign nation has the right to determine who enters their country, who they grant visas to. And so this is a tool that has been found to work elsewhere. Americans did help. Of the governance watchers, analysts who have really paid critical attention to this tool that the U.S. deployed, say that it did help a great deal. And remember that in the Nigerian case, the Americans continue to monitor even after the elections. And indeed, after the elections, they imposed visa restrictions on a number of people who had fomented trouble, who had used violence, who attempted to subvert the will of the Nigerian people. And the verdict out there is that it has been a very helpful. So, look, this is very significant. It is positive, and we all know that if you look at the traveling pattern of African politicians, including Ghanaian politicians, the U.S. means a very favorable destination, apart from investments, apart from going there on holidays, even medical tourism by a lot of these African politicians. The United States is their preferred destination. So to that extent, the Americans have a very, very persuasive force. And don't forget that the U.S. and other countries have been criticized that often they are not proactive, they do not act swiftly, they wait for violence to erupt, and then they try to impose sanctions when the harm has been caused. So in recent years, they have tended to, serve notice and to be more proactive and to ensure that they are not accused of nothing by and allowing a conflagration to erupt when the house is up in flames. Then they now want to act.
Before they act. And I read on John Mohammed's page that he apparently met and had discussions with 24 members of the diplomatic community. And this meeting was hosted by the U.S. Ambassador, Virginia Palmer. And it provided, quote, an opportunity to present the NDC's concerns about our electoral process, end quote. Is it a coincidence that I'm reading in this State Department policy announcement to place visa restrictions on those who undermine democracy, that one of the things that they will be sanctioning is the undermining of our democracy, including through manipulation or rigging of the electoral process? Is it a coincidence, or is partly because of the concerns that your party may have put before the U.S. government in this meeting?
I think that if we are being fair to the facts, the Americans have had this law for a considerable number of time. And before this meeting that our flag bearer, inshallah, the incoming president of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, held with Ambassador Virginia Palmer and other members of the diplomatic corps, the Americans had used this just next door in Nigeria last year, and indeed followed up with real sanctions, and it did work. So to be fair to the Americans, I don't think that they have been persuaded or pushed by any political party. This is a tool in their toolkit that they deploy, particularly when they are watching an election closely and when they have interest in that country. And as the Secretary of State Blinken said, Ghana and U.S. are long-standing allies. They are mutual interests. Remember that there are lots of U.S. investments here. We are trying to revive the MCC account, and there are many partnerships and bilateral arrangements which ought to be preserved. If this country goes up in flames, it's not only Ghanaians, ordinary citizens who suffer, but U.S. interests will also suffer. And to the extent that there are times that U.S. Western allies have been criticized, that, for example, when African heads of states engage in undemocratic tendencies, when they try to, and actually proceed to alter their constitutions and all of that, institutions, they don't act until there is a coup d'etat, and then they then impose sanctions on the coupists. So this is a preemptive move. They are observing closely, and you see, when notice is served to everybody that you are being watched, and I'm sure that other Western nations and other countries will follow suit in the coming days. This serves as a clear deterrent. Those who think that they can, set up Ghana in flames, foment trouble here, and then they and their family members will just, leave and go enjoy, a safe haven in the United States of America, which is a preferred destination for a lot of African politicians. This serves as notice that you will not be entertained, you will not be allowed entry, you and your family members. So even if they are reckless politicians, what this does is that their family members, the politically persons close to these politicians, will now have to call them to order, will now have to advise them. Because look, the rhetoric, the incendiary language, the dark maneuverings, is there for everybody to see. And now it's clear that there will be consequences.
Yeah, and as a politician,
sanitize the space.
And as a politician yourself, does a move like this put you in check?
Definitely, because you see, when you get on this list, remember that it's not only the United States that will be watching. When you get on the U.S. list, if you observe what happened, particularly to the Nigerians, there are other countries, because the U.S. will share this information with their partners, and it really can impact on other countries granting you, visas to allow you to escape the mess that help, your career, and it has far-reaching consequences, even in terms of international appointments, in terms of international invitations, exposures, whether you would even be entertained. You can become a pariah where nobody will want to have anything to do with you. And I mean, what kind of politician will you be? You will be blacklisted, you will be doomed. So this is really, really a good call. It's most welcome. I know some people may try to raise issues about sovereignty and why is Uncle Sam taking the big stick and trying to position themselves as the policeman of the world when they also have their own democratic challenges, particularly general not being resolved statement. The Americans still reserve the right, like we in Ghana, we reserve the right on a daily basis. We are denying people visas to Ghana. We have the right to determine who enters our space, and we should grant the Americans that as well. And the Americans are only telling us that now, in this election year, this crucial election, they are going to also be watching the space, and they are going to now look at those who are, fomenting trouble, seeking to undermine democracy, seeking to rig elections, seeking to engage in conflict, in all kinds of arm twisting to subvert the will of the people, that there will be consequences. So I don't think that those who may want to mount the high horse and engage in some Pan-African lectures about how America may be trying to dictate to us will convince people like me. Really,
yeah,
I think we need this. We need this. The timing is excellent, and it will help to really improve our democratic ethos.
Samokude, thank you very much. And I want to bring in Dr. Kojo Asante now, Director of Policy Engagement and Partnership with the CDD. And Doc, yes, it's the U.S. government that is imposing these visa restrictions. It is your right, but do they have the moral authority? This is a country that we saw plunge itself into post-election violence in the United States of America, now preaching to us why there is the need now to maintain our own internal security before, during, and after the elections. In fact, who the authorities in the U.S. accuse of fomenting and facilitating the chaos and the post-election violence is actually a presidential candidate with a real chance of winning the elections and returning to the White House. Hey, I may have lost Dr. Santa there. Hello, Doc. Okay, I'll bring in Ryan Evans Demarco. He's the Director of Research and Elections with the MPP. Hello, hello, Evans.
Hello, Evans.
Great to have you, Mr. Demarco. I've just heard from Samokude Blackwell. What's the take from the MPP on this?
Well, thank you very much for having me, and good evening to your listeners. I think for us as New Patriotic Party, this is a good call. And for me, it must not really, it shouldn't take the USA to let people in this industry behave responsibly. But it's a good call. You are aware that the presidential candidate of the party, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has indicated his preparedness to sign a peace pact before, during, and after the general election. I think that for us as New Patriotic Party, we will never be caught in this web. We've always preached to our people to behave responsibly, conduct themselves in a manner that is in line with our constitution, in line with the rules of the game, i.e. the CI's that are supposed to be used for the conduct.
And in that same spirit, Evans, in that same
you've seen this in the conduct of our presidential candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
In that same spirit, we've seen the reports from Agona West where there have been some clashes that has led to one person fighting for his life as we speak. How is the party handling that?
Well, you need to find out from the Ghana Police Service what their investigation so far indicates. It will be difficult for you to sit here and draw conclusions. So for me, I'll rather let the Ghana Police Service conduct the necessary investigation to ensure that whoever is part of this criminal act is arrested and brought to book. That will be my take on that.
Thank you very much, Nemako. And that's Evans Nemako. He is the Director of Research and Elections with the MPP. Earlier, I lost Dr. Kojo Pumpuni Asante, Director of Policy, Engagements and Partnership. Doc, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great to have you. I was asking you earlier, does the U.S. have the moral authority to be imposing this restriction on us? Of course, it's their right to do so, but considering that post the 2020 elections, they were plunging to post-election violence, the man who they accuse of fomenting the violence is on the ballot now and real chance of becoming the next president of the United States. Do they have the moral authority?
Well, Evans, I mean, the good thing that has happened is that since that generous incident and since he lost the election, the American system has, plunged into action, and there has been various levels of accountability that he has been, had to face. And that's what a democratic system is supposed to, do. And, sometimes we don't even get that here. So, yes, we can look at the failings of, of the U.S., but at least we have to recognize that at least at a certain level, we are able to see how those democratic systems also fight back when they are being undermined. And, we have to recognize that. So we have to take, for me, the positives that it offers. And America is still a very important international player. And in the context of Ghana, where our political elites, a lot of them have these opportunities, to live there and travel there, some have their monies there, have their families there. There has to be ways in which we can hold them accountable if locally their influence, overwhelms us, and we are not able to hold them accountable locally when we are coming to elections.
But you think it will make much of a difference considering that this is just the U.S., right? They can go to Europe. They can go anywhere else that they want. They have a lot of money to do so.
Well, I think that we have seen that, and I think this is not the first time we have seen this tool used by the U.S., but in the past, I think either in 2016 or 2020, other states also came in, for example, in Europe and so on and so forth. So let's see what happens. But I think that is a first step. That is still, for me, a big stick that the U.S. have put down, and it's something that should be welcome. At the end, we have to hold ourselves accountable. We have to make sure we are enforcing our laws and to be vigilant. I think that's the only way we are going to promote a peaceful environment in this place. But when those, we have to put all the measures in place to restrain people from causing harm. The elections are supposed to be peaceful. We have to allow the will of the people to prevail, and that is what this is all meant to promote. And I think we welcome it.
And it has been suggested tonight in the conversation we'll be having that for this to be effective, other Western nations must join and issue the same sort of policy. That then becomes one that blocks out every route out of this country if you set this country ablaze.
Well, hopefully we don't even get to that. But as I said, that this has happened in the past. As I try to recall, either in 2016, where others also issued similar warnings, about visa restrictions and that we're going to be imposed on individuals. And remember, the key word is the individuals, because this is personal accountability. Often when these things happen,
and their families,
people
in this
hide
case,
behind party.
In this case, their families also.
Yes, exactly. When they are making these things and causing harm to other people's families and so on, they should also think about the impact on their own families.
Thank you very much. That's Dr. Kojo Asante there with the CDD. We'll hear from the Peace Council pretty shortly. They've been working very, very hard in the back of the violence we've seen in Agona West, but also in Boku with all the political undertones. They've actually been barred from entering Boku already because of the tensions there. This must come to them as music to their ears. Georgia Mo, Executive Secretary of the National Peace Council, is joining us right now. Professor Vladimir Entredanso is also joining me right now. He's the Dean of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College and also an international relations expert. It is to him I go next. And Prof, to that question though, is the U.S. being the big brother, wielding a stick when they have their own issues with their own democracy that plunge into political violence post the 2020 elections here?
Thank you for having me, Evans. Positive as this may sound, though, I think we need to be very careful about what we accept and what we don't accept. Yes, the U.S. is trying to be the big gendarme where democracies are concerned, but no two democracies are the same. I think what we need is to be able to draw our own contours, the contours of our own democracy. My fear is that if always we would wait for the U.S. to bring the big stick, there will be the possibility that when the election results don't favor them, perhaps they want Entredanso, perhaps they want Baumia, and if it doesn't go their way, then they may want to use other parameters in measuring the government and denying the government the right to rule. For example, what they did in Venezuela, and they have done it in several other places. Of course, they've used the same method one way or the other in Nigeria before, which is welcome. But the point is that how long will they be the ones who determine how democracy should be formulated? I'm very much worried about that.
And you raised that point, and I pulled that question to Kudeta Blackwell earlier, because in this particular directive, you will be sanctioned if the U.S. believe, and I'm using the word quoted in Section 212A3C of the Immigration and Nationality Act, if they believe that you've acted in that undermines the democracy in Ghana, including manipulation or rigging of the electoral process. I mean, how do you objectively determine that an electoral process has been rigged?
That is my worry, because that is what exactly they did to Venezuela. And Venezuela was rather thrown into chaos because of the U.S. interference. And up till now, there is no peace in Venezuela. The people have chosen their own person. No matter how bad it was, they would have been gradually. We in Ghana had this problem since 92. And I'm saying, let us find a way of crystallizing our democracy through the contours we give to democracy, by people accepting what to do and what not to do in elections, and not wait for America to do for us to do their bidding for them.
Stay with me briefly. I want to bring in the Peace Council now. Georgia Mo, Executive Secretary of the National Peace Council, joins us now. How is the Peace Council responding to this directive by the U.S.?
Evans, thank you very much. and greetings to all those who are listening to. I think that this is welcome news because it would help us strengthen the peace, messages we want to we are giving Ghanaians. But the question is, how did we get here? I mean, why should that happen? I mean, if we are a country that is, law-abiding, going about our elections in a peaceful, manner, why should we have such a directive? I think it's because probably we haven't done well in terms of putting the right signals, out there. I mean, the U.S. I'm not sure would issue this statement in a vacuum. That there is reasons why they are taking such an action. So I think that is why I would want to draw the attention of our politicians, like other discussants have said. We have to put our house in order. We don't have to allow external partners, however good intentions they are, to give directives like what has happened. But it is very welcome. It will help check excesses here in our country because the U.S. has great influence across the world. So their directive, I can assure everybody, is not only making reference to U.S. as a destination, but other places. Others will take you from what the U.S. has said.
And Dr. Vladimir Chudan, so there's a point there about this would not have been issued in a vacuum. Is it possible, knowing what you understand of international relations, that the U.S. may have gathered intelligence that may point to individuals either in concert with others acting to undermine our democracy, and that is why the U.S. government has taken this preemptive step to sort of serve that warning that we are watching and you will be picked up and yourself and your family will be subject to this restriction?
Of course, they must have picked intelligence, and we ourselves in Ghana know that the war drums have been beating for quite so long a time. Almost towards every elections, we have this problem of war drums being beaten. And I'm saying that no matter what the situation, the crystallization of our democracy, the future of our democracy will not be always on the back of American high stick. And again, who says that those who want to foment trouble will always want to go to America? The trouble can come anyway. So what we did is that we should be very wary of such situations. People may not be wanting to show to the Americans that X is doing this, Y is doing this. And I'm saying, among the political parties, they have their choices. They have those they believe would sing their praise or would tie their apron strings to theirs. And therefore, if it doesn't go their way, the possibility of having a Venezuela in Ghana is always there. And that is my worry. My biggest worry is the fact that they know who their choice would be. And if it doesn't go well, they would then try to find some culprits and then denounce the elections. Not accept the results of the elections and begin to foment trouble for Ghana. So my take on this is that, welcome though as it may be, we should find a way of making sure that these things don't become part of our electoral processes, that our democracy can be crystallized without somebody determining democracy in Ghana.
You make the point there. It comes down to our own internal checks and balances and measures to prevent the violences and all. And Mr. George, I'll move finally to you. What do you make of that concern that's expressed there by Dr. Vladimir Chudan on this particular subject, that there's open, we're a sovereign country, but there's also, as they say, the U.S., they haven't got permanent friends, they have permanent interests. Yes, they say on the face of this that this is to prevent the undermining of our democracy, that they may have other interests other beyond that then they use this to enforce it.
I think they are just enforcing a law that I think they have clearly stated in the statement. So I'm not sure it's because of Ghana's election that they are doing something like this. So, however it is, as a country, how do we, gain? Let me use the word gain carefully from such a statement. It may not be well intentioned, but I'm confident that it will help reduce. The propensity, to use violence as a choice in addressing a dispute that one is not happy about. So, however uncomfortable it is for now, until probably they prove to us they have other intentions, let us accept the directive as it has been released and see what is it that we can do as a people to prevent such, issuance of such a directive in the future. Because I am sure some intelligence have been picked, some science has been received, and for that matter, they are issuing this directive. So let us be proactive, prevent any untoward occurrence that will disturb our peace. After all, if we are able to abide by the statement and we ensure we don't go the path of violence, the interest is ours. It is Ghanaians who are benefiting. It's our democracy that is growing. So I would wish that we look at it from that angle. After all, we don't need somebody to tell us not to take the path of violence. So if somebody has come and told us, let us see it as having come from a well-intentioned friend, and do all that we can to preserve the peace and democracy that we are enjoying. We should remember that the Vigilantism and Related Offences Act is still in force. And for that matter, we should be careful the way we either sponsor violence, we participate in it, or we encourage others, to participate in acts of violence. It wouldn't yield anything to us. We have children to give a country that is peaceful, too, when we are no more around. So all these things, I think they are good signs. Let us take them and ensure we keep our country safe.
Thank you very much, George Amo, Executive Secretary of the National Peace Council. We had Professor Vladimir Tridanso, Dean, Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College. What do you make of the announcement by the U.S. Secretary of State? And as you know, this announcement had been made with just 40 days to the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. It's been called the make or break one. But tonight, if the U.S. Determines that your actions undermine Ghana's democracy, they have imposed an immediate visa restriction that will not only affect you, the individual, but your family members as well. And this is on a wide range of issues that they will be evaluating over the period, include actions that manipulate or rig the electoral process, the use of violence to intimidate, coerce, or prevent people from exercising their rights to freedom of association and peaceful assembly, the use of measures designed to intimidate, coerce, or prevent political party representatives, voters, or members of civil society or the media from voicing or disseminating their views or engaging in any other activity designed to improperly influence the conduct or outcome of the elections. If the U.S. determines that you are guilty of any of these, they will slap you with a sanction, which is the visa restriction on yourself and your family. And this is what the U.S. government has announced today. And it does not affect all applicants, Ghanaians applying to go to the U.S. legitimately, only affect individuals who are guilty of the things I've just listed here. I want to hear from you on Newsnight tonight on the 055-1111-997. Still ahead, firm assurance to contain spillover of renewed clashes in Boku in the Northeast Regional. As the Northeast Regional Security Council says, there is no cause to panic over yesterday's roadblock attack.
Fortunately, all the security agencies are there, and we are not panicked. Things will be restored, and everything will go on well.
We're also hearing from political actors, including John Mahama, who is urging Boku factions to embrace peace.
Fortunately, all
We know that there are some sinister hands who are trying to stoke the fires of ethnic conflict. They should not allow themselves to be provoked to violence.
We'll hear from the Peace Council as they request for feuding factions to lay down their arms and dialogue after 15 persons were killed.
First is to lay down the arms and let the parties engage.
Also tonight, police closing on Agona and Nyakrom shooter as independent candidates Cynthia Morrison and MPP's Chris Arthur distanced themselves from the attack that injured Nasara coordinator.
Which of you has a gun with you? Oh, we don't have a gun. We all went to a wedding before the program. And then how do we carry a gun when we are going for a program like this?
The gun came from Cynthia Morrison's crowd. Like she was just sounding like a war woman. She was in front of the whole thing.
And later, I'll bring you our latest feature series, Streets of Despair. And for the first time in 4 years, the Ashanti region won't be represented in the grand finale of the National Science and Maths Quiz, despite a strong start with 29 participating schools. Details of the National Science and Maths Quiz as we build up to that grand final. You want to stay with us here on News Night. Details after this.
Everybody likes money, but what do we like more than money? More money! Join the Telecel More Money promo and win money, more money, and even more money. Simply opt in for free and reload your mobile and broadband and be the lucky winner of the 1 million Ghana cedis grand prize. Also win cash prizes of up to 3 million Ghana cedis in the daily and weekly draws. Opt in for free by dialing *500# or send WIN to 500, or you can opt in on the Telecel Play app. The more you reload, the higher chances of winning in the Telecel More Money promo. Keep loading, win, and be a millionaire.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me da with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Hey, Makasada!
Get ready.
Every objection against you is hereby dismissed.
For Impact 2024 with the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, Reverend Dr. Eastwood Anaba, Apostle Joshua Selman, Apostle Isi Igeneba, Bishop Dr. Bernard Ojiri Asari, and Reverend Dr. David Entry, November 24th to December 1st, 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. daily at Action Chapel International Prayer Cathedral, Dominion Arena. For inquiries or bars information, call 059-230-0069.
Do you want a healthy smile?
Are you a senior looking to maintain your oral health? Hi, I'm Tanya from Bethel Dental Clinic, Ghana. As we age, our dental needs change, making regular dental care even more important. Geriatric dental care is tailored specifically for older adults, typically aged 65 and above. Aging can bring oral health challenges like dry mouth, gum recession, and increased risk of cavities and gum disease. Regular dental checkups are essential to detect issues early, while preventative measures like fluoride treatments and professional cleanings help maintain oral health. Schedule your appointment today to learn more about dental age-related dental changes and how to keep your smile healthy for years to come. Because your smile deserves the best care, no matter your age.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST Campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
It's a live on News 90s on Joy 99.7 FM. I want to take you to Boku now, where security chiefs are currently in a meeting, an urgent meeting over yesterday's roadblock attack following renewed clashes there that left several people dead. We're getting conflicting reports on the number of casualties. To get some clarity for you, following this particular meeting, the conflict is reported to have been sparked by the return of a rival chief, Seidu Abagri. Joint police and military personnel have since been deployed to restore stability. It's unclear how many people have been killed so far, but the MC for Wale Wale, Isaku Somo Lucky, assured that there is no cause for panic, as they have now put in place a number of measures to deal with the security situation.
So far, so very good. We are in it. The regional minister is chairing the program, and we have discussed a lot of things that will bring peace back to the good people of Northeast region. You know, we are in Northeast region, but the issue is at Boku. But the people in Boku are also affected by the people in Northeast region, because the Mampushis there are also, some of them are coming from Northeast region. So we have to be concerned with what is going on. But in terms of what is happening in West Mampushi and Padamata Wale Wale, inshallah, so far so very good. There's no more problem. Everything is going on peacefully without any problem.
There are many figures that are being bandied around about the number of people who have died. How many people are on your list?
That is exactly what I cannot say for now, because we are still in the meeting, and both the police and the military are there to give us the update. So we are on it to settle on how it was done. But so far, I have heard of one person, but the other ones that people are talking about, that's what the police is now going to update us on. That is when it comes to our area. But we don't know what is happening in Boku.
But do you know whether any of them are receiving treatment at the hospital?
Certainly, I don't have information on that as well, because the municipal security commander is also in the meeting. Just about to give us his briefing on the matter.
Going forward, will there be heavy deployment of the police and military on the ground for some time?
If there is a need for that, if that will bring peace back to the place, we will do that. Fortunately, all the security agencies are there, and we are not panicked. Things will be restored and everything will go on well. But now, there's calm everywhere. You can't even find anybody on the street again on those issues.
And the Regional Peace Council has been wading into this particular resurgence in violence there. The Upper East Regional Executive Secretary of the Peace Council, Ali Nakbiam, warns appealing factions to lay down their arms and sit to dialogue.
As far as coming from the ground is an expression of fear, because, for some time now, Boku was quite calm. People were going about their businesses peacefully, and then suddenly this new round of violence emerged. So it is an expression of fear and the insecurity that is now surrounding the whole place, as I said, even including travel from Boku to the south, especially on the Tamale-Bolga Highway, then around Boku itself. So the issue is about the fear and the fact that they believe the security services should be doing more to ensure that at least some of the violence is curtailed in a way.
What would be the Peace Council's proposal?
So our proposal first is to lay down the arms and let the parties engage. The second is to get all major stakeholders from the top, from the presidency, the ministries, the MMDAs, all to play their roles in ensuring that the parties are able to engage in the way that they can sit and listen to each other. The Peace Council itself from our national level has a role to play, and we are saying all at that level should begin to see the Boku issue as a national issue and tackle it as such.
Now, the affairs, it will also affect the December elections and may disenfranchise people in the affected areas. The Dr. Victor Doke is a security analyst with the Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Training Center, is calling for an increased deployment in security, both military and the police there, and an immediate resolution of the chieftaincy dispute that underlies this particular eruption in the violence we've seen over the last few days ahead of the elections.
We are going to likely have a state of emergency declared in Boku because obviously the curfews aren't doing any good. And when that happens, scenario 2 will play out, being that once there's a state of an emergency in Baku, we're trying to get Sedu out for peace to prevail, for calm to be restored. And then what will happen going to December 7th? Are the people of Baku going to be disenfranchised because of the tensions there? If Sedu is out by then we're going to have elections in Baku. If not, then you are sure to say or conclude or project that elections in Baku may not come up because of the tensions in there.
And that in itself could lead to a further escalation there, wouldn't it?
It could lead to
if the people feel disenfranchised.
Exactly. Now you're looking at who benefits from this chaos and who doesn't. Okay? And the perception we have is the Upper East or Baku itself, the Kusasis are aligned to the NDC. Majority of them are aligned to the NDC, and the majority of the Mapuches are aligned to the NPP. So technically, you would realize and come to conclusions that the NDC may not benefit if a state of emergency is declared in Baku.
I want to take you live now to the Upper East region, where my regional correspondent Albert Sori has been following this very closely, and he joins us right now. Albert, what's the latest on the developing situation in Baku tonight?
Yes, Evan. So we haven't witnessed things like we said yesterday because of the heavy deployment of police and military personnel in the town. One thing that also we realized today is the fact that many people have stayed indoors, and so throughout the day, the streets of Baku have been almost deserted, and just a handful of people, are seen from time to time moving about.
And we know that there have been efforts to try and deal with this, including this meeting that is currently underway. We've heard that there have been a deployment of additional security personnel to the area. What can you report as far as that is concerned, and that is making the difference?
Yes, so today, as I said, we haven't witnessed any shooting incidents like we saw in the last 2 days. The regional minister, we've made a lot of effort to speak with him today, but we've been told that he has had so many meetings today, meeting different groups of people. And so his PRO has asked us to wait. And up to now, we haven't been able to get any comment from Rexed regarding what is further being done. But as far as, the restoration of calm is concerned, I can say that, normal calm has returned, and there haven't been any shootings today, except for the fact that there's still tension in the town.
Thank you very much, Albert. We're keeping a very close eye on this. As we know, there's a meeting that is currently underway, has been underway for a while. We can speak to the MCE of the West Mamprusi, also the Municipal Security Council head chair.
The meeting, the outcome was very fruitful. We had very good deliberation with all the heads of the security agencies. It was a joint security meeting between the RESEC and then the NUSEC. So we all had a meeting chaired by the regional minister. The program was successful. We outlined activities that we can do to stop on because of yesterday's incident. It has confirmed that we have lost about 4 lives. As at yesterday, everything is moving on smoothly.
And based on the intelligence you have, will this hold?
It will help. It will help. We are praying that our people that are, the people that are doing that will stop, and will all resolve to how we can resolve the issue through the law court and actions. But for now, things are okay, and I know the people that we serve will also listen to us. They know that using we must all come together and then see to it that we have a successful resolution to the issue.
Have you seen an increase in military police personnel on the ground?
Of course, both police and military have been deployed, and they are all.
I mean, there are fears tonight that on the back of the violence we've seen, that it's very possible that on election day, December 7th, citizens in Boku may be disenfranchised because it would be too dangerous to set up polling booths there. As Security Council Chair there, what's your briefing on this, and what are you doing to ensure that this doesn't become the reality of December 7th?
Yes, I am not the Municipal Chief Executive for Boku. I am Municipal Chief Executive for West Mampus, that is Wale Wale. It is rather that because of the incident in Boku, it affects the people around my area. And that is why the issue had to affect my people over here. But for us and the election, I'm not sure there's going to be any problem. Make sure that we put all things in place to have a successful election in December 7th. And I'm not sure this issue will have anything to do with that. As we speak today, if you ask your able to do our best to make sure that we bring back sanity to the area.
Thank you very much. And just as we've been speaking on this particular subject there, we've had a warning about this potential impact on this on the elections on December 7. And during the voter registration exercise itself, the EC was compelled to halt the voter registration in Boku. And I know Peace Council is trying to avert a situation where individuals there will be disenfranchised because the place will still not be safe for EC officials to operate. How many individuals may be affected if this indeed becomes a reality? We're watching this closely. Kofi joins me with details of this. Kofi?
Well, so Evans, let's start from the Boku Central area itself. It has 21 electoral areas, and we are estimating, according to what has been put out by the Electoral Commission in terms of the provisional statistics, in terms of the ballots, 149 polling stations may be affected in a total of about 64,000 registered voters for the Boku constituency. Now, if you go to BIMC area itself, which is in the northeast region where the incident actually happened, we are talking about 10 polling stations and 4,396 registered voters that could be affected if the incident actually continues. Evans.
Thank you very much, Kofi. We're keeping a close eye on this developing story in Boku. As we've heard, there's an additional deployment of military and police there to try and deal decisively with the eruption in violence that we've seen over the weekend. I'm still going to be sharing your thoughts with the rest of the world pretty shortly here on Newsnight, right after we're done with business. I'm also going to be bringing you the latest latest episode in our Streets of Despair series tonight. You want to join us for that right after business here on Newsnight. Hello, James.
Hi, Evans. Coming up in business this evening, management of Sunon Asogli Power Company accuses Finance Ministry of dishonesty in debt restructuring exercise, and Food and Beverages Authority kicks against introduction of digital stamp machines and system manufacturing. The Business News on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business, Kingdom Books and Stationery, Syntex Tanks, and Pepsodent Charcoal and Herbal.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Shout! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244-308-111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Attention CEOs, join Ghana's top 1,000 CEOs, policymakers, political leaders, and ambassadors for the first Ghana CEO Presidential Manifesto Gala Dinner 2024 on November 7, 2024 at the Mervyn Pig Hotel, Accra from 6 to 10:30 p.m. This historic event will focus on reigniting the business economy and social contract for growth, a business manifesto for political accountability and sustainable development. Special guests of honor include His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Vice President of Ghana, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, former President of Ghana. Attendance is by invitation and requires pre-registration. Register at ceogaladina.ceonetworkgh.com. For inquiries, contact 0546391970 or email ceogaladina@gmail.com. This event is powered by Chief Executives Network Ghana in partnership with Deloitte, PwC, University of Ghana, SIGA, GIPC, UPSA Law, and the Multimedia Group. The first Ghana CEO Presidential Manifesto Gala Dinner 2024, connecting political ambitions with business realities.
Yeah. We have a new leader in town. Obiarenti. Amafo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal packed with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
From the classroom to the lab, from the village to the city, the NPP's commitment to education is building a brighter Ghana. Free SHS isn't just about free tuition, it's an investment in Ghana's future. We have topped it up with free TVET and STEM education, skilled graduates, innovative thinkers, and a thriving economy. That's the promise of free SHS.
3 of my cousins have benefited from free SHS since 2017. One has graduated and is in nursing training. The other 2 are also in the university. I'll vote number 1. I'll vote for Bawumia on December 7th.
We are building a better tomorrow through education. Vote NPP. Vote number 1. Vote Bawumia. Bawumia means business. Esro.
Imagine having access to top-notch educational resources, no matter your grade of school or location in Ghana. With the Ghana Knowledge and Skills Bank, you can tap into a vast library of resources, even in offline mode. From primary all the way to tertiary education, we've got you covered. As a student, you have access to past questions from 1990 to date for BEC, WASI, and tertiary test examinations. As a teacher or lecturer, you can hold virtual classes for your students and share your lecture notes for their use. As an educator or researcher, you can publish your books or articles for public consumption. And lastly, you have your own studies teacher or AI tutor who is trained to teach you in any subject topic till you fully understand. So whether you're a student, educator, content creator, researcher, or entrepreneur, the Ghana Knowledge and Skills Bank was made just for you. Sign up today at www.gksb.gov.gh. The Ghana Knowledge and Skills Bank, where learning has no limits and the possibilities are endless. This project was financed by the World Bank under the erstwhile e-Transform project at the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization.
The luckiest
star 712 #.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah.
Welcome and now for a daily star 712 # and found no regrets. A Sankoma investors are a striking gold. A Sankoma health workers are a diagnosing luck with precision. A Sankoma that tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. Say a Sankoma passionate fan on also entering containing a joy. After to the stressor or turning the hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now, a Sankoma, if you say your next big win is right here.
Star 712 #. Luck is everywhere.
Dial star 712 # and join the luckiest winning celebration. From the 1st of July 2024, dial star 712 # to keep buying tickets as a group, individual, or even as a community. Win loads of cash and prizes in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 #. Join the winning streak now.
The luckiest
star 712 #.
Luck is everywhere.
for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight with me, James Ishen. Now let's settle for the details. Now, the independent power producer Sunon Asogli has described government's position on debt owed the company as dishonest. Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam over the weekend accused Sunon Asogli of acting in bad faith after the power company shut down its plant due to a $259 million debt. Spokesperson for Sunon Asogli, Elikplem Akpetobo, said the finance ministry has not been candid in its negotiations to restructure the debt.
That is absolute dishonesty again. You know, in 2023, the end of the year, we requested, there was a similar situation like this. We requested 90 million to service our debts. Out of that, he paid 60 million, remaining 30 million that he promised to pay in February. I don't know, his calendar has not ended February yet. Here we are in October. We've still not received that 30 million. And we are asking, the whole of 2024, you have not made a dime to us. Add 30 million to it. Will you say that is a bad faith? Will you say that is unfair? You are owing me about 259 million. Give me 60 million out of that for us to negotiate about the 2 million. And you are saying this is a bad faith.
Elikplem Akpetobo is the spokesperson for Sunon Asogli, still on the finance ministry. Now, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has assured that the Bank of Ghana is in a strong position to meet the dollar demand of businesses in the coming weeks. Speaking at a news conference in Washington, D.C., USA, Dr. Adam insisted that there is no cause for alarm.
And I can tell you that the Bank of Ghana has accumulated significant reserves to meet the demand. We also know that the IMF, after the board approval on the 2nd of December, will disburse $360 million to Ghana. We are working with the World Bank also to disburse another $300 million under the DPO series. And so in addition to what the bank has already accumulated in reserves, respecting these flows, forex flows, which certainly will help in stabilizing the cedi further into next year, early next year.
And that was Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam there speaking. Now, to some other stories, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana has reiterated its disapproval to the introduction of new digital machines for fixing excise tax stamps on their product by the Ghana Revenue Authority. According to the chairman of the association, John Awuni, this will serve as a disincentive since manufacturing firms are expected to bear the cost of procuring the machines.
Don't have to do that at the expense of the manufacturers, just as ECG introduces new machines from time to time, but not at the expense of consumers. So the GRA can also go procure new machines, install at the manufacturer's premises when they find it necessary at their full cost, at the full cost of the GRA, at the full cost of government, but not at the expense of manufacturers. It is not the duty of manufacturers to go look for digital machines, install at their own cost, and so as to enhance tax and pay taxes again to the government. I don't think that that is acceptable. And the AGM must make this very, very, very clear.
John Awuni is the chairman of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana. Now, Oyster Agribusiness, an innovative agri-tech company specializing in the climate-smart agriculture, has raised $2 million in funding to expand its operations and deepen its impact on smallholder farmers across Ghana. This milestone was made possible through the support of Root Capital, RDF Ghana, and Sahel Capital Social Enterprise Fund for Agriculture in West Africa, with the fundraising process led by Africa Limited, a leading business development service provider. Chief Executive Officer Edmond Combat outlined the impact the fund will have in the agri sector.
It's going to help us to increase the number of farmers that we've engaged over the years from the current 4,500 to over 10,000 farmers. And the number two is that it's going to help us to create more direct jobs with the youthful population that we're employing and encouraging into agriculture. And then number three is that it's going to help fund our capex because we need to construct a few warehouses in our operational locations. We need to get a few farm implements as well. And all of this will augment and further the works of Oyster Agribusiness.
Edmond Combat as the Chief Executive Officer of Oyster Agribusiness. Now, Tropo Farms Limited, Ghana's foremost aquaculture expert and the leading supplier of fresh premium quality tilapia, says it will continue to bring new offerings to its customers. Marketing Manager Rebecca Avomo Diallo reiterated the company's commitment to improving on its customer services. She spoke to Joy Business after winning the Fresh Fish Brand Award at the National Customers' Choice Awards, Ghana.
The work that we are putting in the industry is relevant. It means that a lot of people love our tilapia, and it means that when it comes to tilapia in Ghana, it's nothing but Volta Cash tilapia. So we are really grateful to have won this award today because our customers mean a lot to us. So we are really, really grateful. So going forward, you should actually expect more. We are looking at new products that we are working on. They will hit the market very soon. We are looking at products in terms of transformation. You know, it's not always tilapia and Baku, tilapia and rice. We are looking at avenues of transforming the fish into more products.
Rebecca Avomo Diallo is the marketing manager for Tropo Farms Ghana Limited. And that's all for business on Newsnight with me, James Ishen. Over to you, Evans.
James, thank you very much. In our latest episode of Streets of Despair, my colleague Sweetie Abochi takes us deep into the heart of Tema Station, where a family bound by circumstance rather than blood has created a fragile sense of home. Beneath the terminal, a scrap of rubber, a mosquito net, and a thread of hope are all that stand between them and unyielding streets. If you have ever wondered what life is on the streets, what it looked like exactly, here's a sneak peek.
I'm out here tonight to tell you a story about lives that usually come alive when most of us are in the comfort of our homes. I'm talking about the stories of children out here in these streets.
Accra, a city that never sleeps. While most of us retreat to our homes, the streets tell a different story. Here at Tema Station, children call the streets home. Different groups have settled here, families, not bound by blood, but by circumstance. Poverty and unemployment push them to the streets, where survival looks very different. A mat beneath a bus stop, a mosquito net, and hope are their only shelter. But the night brings danger, and 17-year-old Samira shares her daily fears with me.
Sleeping on the street is very difficult because sleeping here, scammers, thieves, they are moving on us all around, all night and all day. So some people have been stealing our things, and we don't know. We are just managing to do that until we go. It's just by the grace. It's just God gift. God just gifted us.
Despite the harsh conditions here, teenage mother Aisha believes life in Accra is still better than the struggle she left up north.
Life here is very difficult. It's very difficult. There's no work here. The work, if you want to get work, it will be difficult for you to get work. And if you went out to go and carry kaya, it will be very difficult to get that kaya.
Why did you come to Accra?
Just to find money. Because working on north is very difficult. And here too, we are just managing here.
Well, I've spent a little over an hour over here so far, and it's a fun life. You know, these children, they make the most out of what they have. There's a very communal spirit here. They're all belonging like family, and it's nice to see that although their lives are here on the street and they only come out when most of us are in the comfort of our homes.
I spent the evening with one family. These children here, too young to understand their plight, also find happiness in the little things, like a simple day's routine. They look forward to the night because it is a time for games, laughter, and storytelling, an escape from reality when they have the lorry station to themselves.
So it's around 7 thereabouts, and some of these children out here on the streets of despair are preparing to go to bed, and they tell me that this is where they sleep. And right here she's showing us how to prepare the net for them to sleep.
This is life on Accra's streets, a life of resilience and struggle, but also of hope. Hope for a future away from these streets, where their children can dream beyond survival. Suitia Boche's report for Joy News, Accra.
And that is Suitia Boche's report there. Fascinating indeed. You really want to watch the full piece. It's across our social media platforms. It's also live on our news at 7 on television. You don't want to miss it. Just go onto our many social media platforms. It's on Facebook, on Twitter, also on YouTube, and watch it for yourself. How life on the streets look like at night. And guess who's joining us in the studio with sports? Hello, Mr.
Hi, Evans.
I didn't see you on the field on Saturday.
I saw you on the tracks.
Exactly. That's my whole point.
Yeah, but you lost.
Oh, but did you see the false start? You didn't see the false start?
There were Ghana athletics officials there.
But the Ghana, that's my point. We actually have video evidence of Muftao starting before the gun was fired. Yes, I'm going to show it to you.
I don't believe that.
But I'll show it to you.
I watched the race live.
What? You watched?
I watched the race live.
I mean,
you have
of course,
a very
good
running form. But
exactly. That is why I should have won that easily if he had started at the sound of the gun.
I don't know how you allowed Muftao, who runs like a kangaroo, to finish the race.
He only won because he started before the gun was fired.
I'll look at the video.
I'll share with you. And tomorrow, make sure when you come back here, after you've seen the evidence, you have to confess. Good. Okay. What do you have in the headlines?
Let's talk about Ghana's under-20 team, the Black Satellites. Their head coach, Desmond Ofe, he has promised victory in Wednesday's WAFU Championship final against rivals Nigeria. Now, Ghana registered an impressive 2-1 comeback win against Cote d'Ivoire in the semi-final. The one edition was cancelled due to COVID. Is set to be named the new Ballon d'Or winner for 2024 after Real Madrid. Vinicius Jr. was snapped. Now, due to the snap, no Real Madrid player or official will attend tonight's ceremony. So there will be no Bellingham, there will be no Carlo Ancelotti. None of them. Real Madrid have decided to boycott tonight's event because Vinicius Jr. was snapped for the top award. And probably the biggest news of the day, Ruud van Nistelrooy, he's going to take over Manchester United's managerial role on interim basis.
Emphasis on
interim basis. Ham United. And it looked like the management of the club was basically tying the axe. Now, the latest news is that Sporting Lisbon head coach Ruben Amorim is being spoken to.
Exactly.
That's
my man.
He's a top candidate.
That's
to take
my man.
over.
That's what I predicted will happen. Should happen. I'm happy.
He should come with their striker.
Yeah.
It should be a package deal.
All of them.
All of them.
Anyway, guys, thank you very much. Now, Jordy showcases stories on the environment and climate change responsiveness to the public at this year's Green Film Festival in Accra. The Joy News Climate Focus series and hotline documentaries on illegal mining and environmental devastation featured prominently at the festival. The masterclass lead producer of Joy News Climate Focus series, Kofi Edudomfe, reiterated the essence of enhancing conversations on climate change in the country.
With a growing population and an economy reliant on industries like agriculture, Ghana faces increased climate vulnerability, similar to many West African nations, with extreme weather conditions and increased temperatures already affecting the economy and human security, leading to shifting living conditions across the country. Speaking to Joy News at the 2024 Green Film Festival in Accra, Kofi Edudomfe, lead producer of the Joy News Climate Focus series, urged government and key stakeholders to adopt innovative solutions to address climate change in Ghana.
One of the cardinal interests in coming up with this production at Joy News is to highlight the critical importance of the climate conversation. Climate change, as we all know, is a phenomenon that is currently with us, not only in Ghana, but the globe. And for us, we believe it's part of our responsiveness to create awareness, to drive the narrative around climate change, and most essentially to bring policy to bear on the need for us to act in the area of mitigation and adaptation.
And that there is Kofi Edu-Domfe. Now, Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayokoboju has vowed to strengthen relations among Commonwealth nations following her election as Secretary General of the 56th Nation International Body. Addressing the media upon her arrival in Ghana after her win, she outlined her vision for the Commonwealth. Listen to my colleague Kenneth Jesse, who was there and filed this report.
Well, after over 30 hours flight from the nation of Samoa, the Secretary General-elect of the Commonwealth of Nations, Shirley Ayokoboju, touched down in Ghana around 12 p.m. local time. And of course, there were party enthusiasts, supporters and sympathizers who thronged the Kotoka International Airport to welcome the Foreign Affairs Minister.
We come from different nations and cultures, but we share a commonwealth of values. My vision is to build on these strengths, promoting trade and ensuring education, skills training development, and innovation for the teeming numbers of young people across our Commonwealth. I will provide leadership to work with member states in collaboration with other multilateral institutions towards addressing climate change, which presents a clear existential threat to our Commonwealth. I shall harness opportunities for transformation and enhance our global voice. I'll prioritize inclusive and effective decision-making, leveraging technology and AI, artificial intelligence, to build gaps and amplify marginalized voices.
And congratulations to her, making Ghana proud once more. I'm pretty sure you remember Kofi Annan was flying the flag of Ghana pretty high at the UN. She'll do that now in the coming years. Now, for the first time in 4 years, the Ashanti region hope of an NSMQ glory has been dashed. The region, which is proving to be a indomitable force over the years, suffered an unexpected setback this year with none of its 29 participating schools making the grand finale appearance. My colleague Jacqueline Soma has to break down on the intense battles that led to this moment.
The journey began with high hopes as 29 Ashanti schools threw in their hat in the ring for this year's National Science and Maths Quiz. 8 of these schools were seeded, but as the dust settled, it became clear that Ashanti star power would face some heavy challenges. The heartbreak began when 5-time champions Preemptive College had to take a bow after suffering a defeat to Infantsipim School. 2-time champions with the most final appearances, Opoku School, bowed out after a tough clash with Ghana National College, both at the quarter-final stage.
We are going to show Opoku School that when you are going to Kumasi, when you get to Yamransa, you turn left. And so we have shown them the road to Santasi. We gave their ladies the same point margin of 21 points, and today we have given their husbands also a 1-point margin.
I said at the end, we'll say what? Let's accept these words in French. At this point, for Preemptive College, c'est fini.
Then there was Osei Tutu Senior High School, who defied the odds to reach the semi-finals for the first time. Despite their fierce determination, they were edged out by Infantsipim School, putting an end to the Ashanti region's run.
Bayern versus Barcelona. I hope you check the scoreline.
I checked the scoreline.
Yesterday, Barcelona versus.
You really want to make a date with us? It's exclusively on Joy News because the final itself is here. It's on Wednesday and it's going to be live across our channels on television, but also on our social media pages. You do not want to miss that the grand finale when it happens on Wednesday. The National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with Girl PLC and supported by Pepsodent and Jupay, Prudential Life Insurance Ghana, and Better Malt. The broadcast of the 2024 National Science and Maths Quiz on Joy News is supported by the NASCO, Vitamilk, Virtual Security Africa, ACE, Medical Insurance, Build Financial Technologies, DBS Roofing, Syntex Tanks, Family Health Medical College, Chop Boss Technologies, Action Secondary Technical, DPS Pipes, Wakanao, and Coronation Insurance. You want to make a date with us on Wednesday for the grand final. And that's it for News Night tonight. You want to make a date also tonight for that exclusive interview with the former Majority Leader, Mensah, who was speaking to me about the happenings in Parliament. He's been talking a lot about the consultation or lack thereof, but also why he's still occupying the current position as Minister for Parliamentary Affairs when he's not the Majority Leader, a position that has traditionally been held by the Majority Leaders. He explains why Antonio Marking is not in that position. You want to join us for that at 9 p.m. on PM Express. And many of you joined us with your thoughts on that major story around the U.S., and a couple of them says, this one from Rebecca says, the U.S. should also include bodies like the Peace Council and the EC when their actions lead to chaos. And T Smart says the troublemakers have already sent their families abroad. This threat from the U.S. is much ado about nothing. More on myjoyonline.com.